Yeah, we have a few things to do, yeah.
It's active Bluetooth, and then they can scan it onto the light.
Oh, projected.
No.
So I can see you guys.
All right, we can hear you.
Perfect, we can hear you. Great.
Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you just fine. I just can't see myself, so I don't know if you can also see me.
I can't see you, no,
Yeah. Okay.
Fix that.
I can't.
No.
She'll fix it.
Okay. Like her camera.
She has her camera on.
Okay.
I saw it, but
Mhm.
We're gonna reconvene from open session at 5:37.
no action was, no actions in close.
Okay. The students from Wyandotte had to reschedule, so we're gonna go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have comments and announcements from board members. Bill, do you have anything?
I have no comments.
Sandra Barnes?
I'd just like to welcome everyone to our meeting, such as it is. I apologize for all of the tech issues. I want to extend my congratulations and my support to the African American community. This month is
Black is-
yes, thank you, Black History Month. And every day we all try to support each other, make sure everyone is taken care of.
Thank you. You want to include Jessica?
Yeah. Jessica,
Oh, I have nothing at this time.
I would also like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I did have an opportunity to on Friday attend the Black History Month program that they had at Studio Central by Principal Vince Young. And I think it was a great turnout. There was positive feedback from the kids. We did talk to them and they did enjoy themselves. So I want to congratulate and thank Principal Vince Young for his efforts and his work that he did in order to put together this program. We do live in a diverse community and it is important to support one another and show in one another support. So I do thank him for that. And not only as a parent and a board member, but also as a worker of the Southside Oroville Community Center. This is what we do. My family, my husband and I, our children have been very much involved in this community for a long time, always willing to support one another and uplift our community. So I just I'd like to see stuff like that and see that we are going forward and supporting one another and building a community with a strong foundation that we can all work together in order to, because our goal is to be a good community and an inviting community and a supportive community. And especially if we want to sit there and show our children that we can be that. So like that, when they get older, they can be that as well. So thank Principal Zhang and all those that participated in the program. And thank you, Troy was there. So I just want to thank the support from the district office for also allowing that program to happen. So thank you, Spencer.
you're very welcome. Thank you. And I just want to reiterate that I met with Principal Zhang today and congratulated him on such a fine activity. I've received tremendous feedback from both staff and students of how great and how well put together it was. Mr. Zhang is already sent out emails to all the people who were involved in it, asking to get together to reflect on how they can improve it for next year. So this is going to be something that we continue to do. He also said, Spencer, in May, we're going to do a Asian Pacific celebration So that will be coming to the studios, and one of his real goals is to kind of his next steps is to bring more of the dance and the music of these various cultures, because it is a VAPA school, and he's trying to tie that all into the whole theme of the school. So kind of moving forward with all these different activities, try to kind of highlight that piece of it. So I'm really pleased and proud of everyone who was part of that. So thank you. Next thing I wanted to share with everybody is that we are very, very happy with what our schools are doing as far as updating all of our fencing. Andrew and the contractors in this area, as well as maintenance, really working hard to update our schools and get our schools to have increased safety measures. And that is something that we take a lot of pride in. I don't know, Andrew, you're going to talk about our secret.
Well, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be a secret.
I know, it's a secret. Andrew's going to share a little bit more about safety that we did this past week that was really, really good. And I'll leave that to him. Thank you. That's all I have.
Andrew?
Well, thank you. I'll start with the secret stranger since everybody's excited. As everyone should know in the district, we're running a secret stranger program that I brought to this board pre-COVID, but hadn't had the chance to operate the program. We were able to get a Butte County Office of Education employee to sneak onto our 6 main campuses and measure how many people didn't confront him, how long it took for people to confront him and send him to the office. And when someone confronted him and sent him to the office, they got a letter from me and they got a $50 Amazon gift card. It was a really nice collaboration with BCOE, and we're working on doing another round, maybe another round after that. The intent of the program when we wrote it, it's been a long time, is to get our staff to be aware of who's on campus, right? He was dressed in a hoodie, no identification. He even grew some stubble for the day. And he was real obvious. And we'll have different demographics next time. And we'll continue to keep all the data. I shared the site results, which each of the site principals, but I'm not sharing that out, but we did a good job. And one of the things we're looking at is providing some real short kind of a primer for professional development about, hello, how are you? Can I help you? Have you checked into the office? Asking those non-confrontational questions so that it's not so intimidating for staff to confront people who are on campus who don't belong there. So that was exciting, and also it helps us to get intelligence on where we might have weak spots in our safety systems. That's another reason I don't share all the results, but it was a positive thing, and a wide spectrum of staff, including teachers, custodians, aides, caught the secret stranger. The principals were exempt since they all knew about it. But we're excited to bring him back, and I thought it was successful. Other things I have for tonight, we're working through CalPads. I just certified the CalPad submission today. And I just wanted to thank all of our clerks, office managers, and our district office staff, including Troy and Chewy, and Sandra, who work on the different components of CalPads to get that done. CalPads is a huge data collection by the state. And every year it gets more and more complex and more invasive, and they want more real-time data. They want your data to be ready the second you put it in. So it's become more and more challenging, and I just wanted to thank them all for their hard work on that project. And the last thing, I saw that Paul Mabey and Tammy Deal both are resigning or retiring. I don't know that they would show up. We had an employee celebration. I just wanted to thank them for their hard work. They're the 2 people who are in charge of our food services program. So we're in the process of hiring the replacements, but they'll be sorely missed. They're 2 very wonderful people that have helped our district, and during the campfire they were there. getting our food out of our freezers and distributing that. So they were, it's gonna be big loss for us, and hopefully the people that we hire will step up and fill their big shoes.
I know it's not my turn, Madam Vice President, but I'd like to share that at one of our school sites with the secret stranger, the employee from BCOE had to move into the grass area because he thought one of our campus supervisors was going to actually tackle him. So
Yeah, he said he saw him from across the playground and just bull rushed him just across the playground, and he was like, he got over onto the grass because he thought he was going down. But we had some very attentive people who are watching our campuses, and it's very good to see.
And that's our goal, is that everybody's attentive. And when they see someone who out of sorts on a campus, that we identify that and immediately address it. So good job, everyone.
Thank you. Troy?
All right, so I did provide a curriculum and instruction board report, just to go over a little bit of it. Spring's in the air. We had a nice couple of weeks of weather, and I think we're on our way back to being cold again for the next couple. When I get a blizzard warning on my phone, that always gets my attention, so that's interesting. As far as our DOJ, we met in our mid-year update, very positive reviews. We're on the upward trend. We were told things are going in a positive direction. We look forward to closing a lot of the judgment out as soon as possible, and we're still moving forward on that. Positive reviews from our mediator as well as the DOJ attorney overseeing the case. So we're moving in the right direction. So good news there. As far as continued DOJ work, I have weekly meetings with our DOJ representative. We also have monthly meetings where she attends our admin meetings and we review discipline data, specific discipline data. They're also real time, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in LCAP. When we have discipline discussions, students that raise to the level of tier 2, tier 3, we actually communicate with our DOJ rep and our mediator, and we deal with our outside agencies to come in and help us, and they kind of guide us in that. So a lot of the times everybody's involved in the process of what we're doing to support our kids in those situations. So it's definitely getting more defined and better with Jennifer Garcia is a great partner, and we look to continuing that relationship. And then Laura Muimon will probably close out the majority of our restorative practice this year. So we're looking really good. Our counseling group, we completed module 7 last week, and we also had a chance to review counseling services and FBA last week. So we got a lot done together. Special ed attended as well, and we were able to work through some as far as referrals for counseling services with IEPs. We were able to kind of work that together to make sure all of our counselors, psychologists, and ed therapists and site principals that we're all on the same page. And LCAP last week had a chance to meet with our certificated unit, our classified unit, and our site principals. So as far as getting input, and our big LCAP community input meeting is scheduled March 12th from 5 to 7. And then tonight we'll be doing the mid-year update. And our supportive school climate advisory committee is scheduled for March 5th, 2024. And so we have quite a few people that have already let us know that they'll be in attendance. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you. Holly?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Is there any reports, comments from the public?
I have a report.
She has a report.
Good morning, board members, or sorry, evening. I wanted to take some time to introduce Jessica Wood. She is our new program director for their oral inclusive state preschool program. And she wanted to take some time tonight and just give a little update to the board.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessie, and I've been in early education now for over 20 years and am really honored to be joining the team at SDO and supporting their commitment to Oroville's youngest learners. So I'm a little bit nervous. I didn't think I would be. But I just also wanted to give you a quick update. And we have been busy working in the 2 classrooms there at SDO and just making sure that we have a supportive environment that will meet all the needs of all of the little kids that are going to be in those rooms and supporting their learning and their development. We have also Cindy, the amazing office manager that has been there before I got there. We have been working on creating an application and enrollment process, including reaching out via email to parents that were already on a wait list, and we've contacted them, including a current application for services, which is also available in the office right now at SDO. We are hoping to open the classroom on Tuesday, April 2nd. There's a couple of things that are still in the works for that to happen. One of them is a green light from licensing. And I heard that we have submitted the last piece of paperwork to them. So the projection will be that we have that this week. And moving forward after that, we'll be hiring a master teacher. We've created a flyer for that. It's been also put up on the handshake job boards at Butte College and California State University, Chico, as well as paper copies in their child development departments in both of those universities, and sent to their professors and teachers that have agreed to pass those out. So we've got some feelers out. If you know of anyone, I'll be happy to give you a flyer and talk to anybody who's interested in that position. That's kind of, I think that's it.
We currently have 1 teacher, but we're looking for a master teacher.
We're looking for a master teacher.
So
Yeah,
we're
we have
looking
an
for 2
aide as
teachers.
well.
We have 1 in place. We're looking for a second. But we're looking to start 1 classroom April the 2nd.
We would love to do
And
that,
then
yeah.
build from there.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of applicants out there, correct?
Yeah, I've, when it was put on the handshake and I was on there, it's been looked at 14 times, and there's also internally been 2 leads that we're following up with as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's my hand. Okay, buddy, okay. There.
Hers is messed up.
Yeah.
This is the kind of-
Are there any comments by the public? The board will send an invitation and interest parties who wish to speak on items that are school related. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. Is there any hands raised?
No, there's not.
Anybody would like to comment? Yeah, we're gonna move on to presentations. Teacher specialists.
Give me 1 second to get this going for Echo.
So this evening, we have Jennifer Cooper, one of our teacher specialists from Ophir, here to speak about the program. We have teacher specialists at our site throughout the district, and they want to talk about some of the good things, the data that's going on, the instruction, and some of the positive results that are happening from their position. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay. All right, good evening. I'm Jennifer Cooper. Have the teacher specialist position at Ophir Elementary School. This position was originally created with COVID relief funds to support teachers and students and address the assumed learning loss during that pandemic time. So I'm just here to talk about the effectiveness of our teacher specialist programs, and this is the 3rd year, and I just hope that it's here to stay. Our dashboard can be kind of discouraging, but I think when you look at this data closely, you'll see that we're making amazing strides in some ways, and we're having really a lot of progress. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. there. In my job, I help with assessments. I support teachers with assessments, and then we create intervention groups with all that data, and I make small groups to meet individual needs. So I have students, I have about 70 students on my caseload, and I have 7 different groups. So we meet 4 times a week, about 25 to 30 minutes a time. So we work on targeted reading skills using phonics lessons and practice the grade level sight words and read decodable books and read reading comprehension books from the Wonder series. Excuse me, for the older kids. I created this calendar for us for the year, and I plugged in breaks. So they're 4 to 6 week intervention groups, but then I break right before we need report cards. So the first 2 weeks, I help teachers with assessing, see where we're at and what we're going to get started with. Then we do a session of intervention. And then right before October, we break again and help with assessments, reassess, kind of, my groups are fluid. So some people can exit out, some people might be added in, maybe we have new students. So it's not set in stone, but we do like sections throughout the year. The district materials that we use, the basics, the BPST, the basic phonics skills test for the 1st and 2nd graders. The Wonders high frequency word list for the 1st graders. And then the Wonders fluency passages for the 1st through 5th. Those end up being used monthly on our data charts that we use in our classrooms too. And then our iReady diagnostic scores, which I'll share a little bit about that. During my group at the beginning of this program, they bought us 6 for each one of our sites, and I lean on that. I use that pretty religiously. And then I use the Wonders leveled readers. So they have the 4 individual for small group readers, and I use the one that is on the kind of below grade level side. It's the orange one. And that works really well. So even with like some of my 4th and 5th graders who are almost non-readers, they've been able to take an AR test, which is a comprehension test. And that's been really empowering for them, because not being able to keep up with the grade level, it's kind of discouraging sometimes. But in a small group, we can pick a book that's at their level. And anyway, it works well. This is just a normal curve, your classic statistical normal curve. I like this graphic because if you just visualize it, I'm working with this population down here. So below grade level, sometimes up to 2 and 3 grade levels below, right? Our goal is to move them up, and we don't want them to slip through the cracks. So I just like this graphic because I think you can use it in almost anything that you're going to describe, right? I mean, the majority is going to fall here. Some are going to be here. Some are going to be here. So I will come back to that. As I've been doing this job for the last 2 years, I feel like sometimes it's kind of like a hammock, like we just start holding these kids up so they don't go further. And sometimes I've seen it like a springboard, like, oh, they just needed a little bit and they're back up and out and moving on. And sometimes we're not seeing the growth that we want. So then that kind of flags us and we like, oh, you know, maybe something else is going on. So that gives us information like we might need to explore further, have an SST, figure out different supports for this student. So this is a current example of an iReady diagnostic. So this is a 2nd grade student, and she is just increasingly advancing. So a student like this is like a hammock one. So we're supporting her, she's showing growth, and a student showing like this may stay in my groups or I may pop them out. And this particular girl, we just exited out because consulting with the teacher felt like she had a good reading group in her classroom that the girl would fit right in with. So for now, she's not going to come to me anymore. She's back in the regular classroom. This is one that as an example, like a springboard. This is a 4th grade boy who basically, you know, is discouraged, has trouble reading, very far below grade level. But with that intensive phonics instruction, in fact, when I looked deeper into it, because I already will break it up if they have the reading comprehension or what part they're low in, his phonics just boomed. So that was really cool to see. So you can just see the growth there, and that's really exciting. So he still is below grade level, but we're seeing growth. So good. And this one is one that shoots up a red flag. So this again is a 2nd grade boy. And he was in my program all through 1st grade and again all through 2nd grade. And we're just still not seeing the progress that we'd like to see. So this helps us like call in parents, call in the SST, like what else could be happening or how can we support him so that he can make the steps to make more progress. So, and that also just adds another step to the job is I like that I can see all the assessments. I kind of have a feeling of where everybody is. And then that I just took it on to do the SST meetings because I think that when I was in the classroom, that was something that I needed help with. Like I have a student that was so low, but maybe I can't get to them. So I like to support teachers with that, like get that meeting going, get the report going, just kind of help them explore that.
And an SST is a student study team where we bring together the principal, the teacher, the intervention teacher, maybe the counselor, bring the parents in, and we have a conversation to discuss what's going on, how can we help the student? Do we have challenges at home? Do we have challenges at school? And basically we try to put together a plan, an individualized plan to help that kid.
Right. So tomorrow on our campus, we have an SST day. So I have one substitute sit in at another staff members and watch her class for the day. So she consistently comes, and the other substitute rows around so that the classroom teacher for that student can come and give input. So, and we book about 10 meetings in one day. So they're about 30 minutes and they're very helpful because you get a nice round picture of everybody who's involved with the students. So that's good. So back to the normal curve. This is the same graphic, but I bring it up because, sorry, my feeling is that we're always going to have these kids, no matter what. We're always going to have high, medium, and low. So we really want to keep programs like this in place to keep those ones that are low. We don't want them to get lower. We want to keep, we want to bump them up, or we want to make sure they don't fall through the cracks. So my feeling is they've always been there. They're always going to be here. After COVID, yes, we had a lot of cleaning house to do because SSTs didn't get done or special ed testing didn't get done. So some students maybe seemed way further behind, or different things happened at home. You know how COVID was, it was all over the board, right? So just in regards to this position, I just think it's important. Yeah. Let's see. The next slides are actually some graphs. So this is just the data from my group. So this is a 1st grade group, and this is their BPST results. So this is basic phonics skills. The beginning is just letter sounds, and then it goes all the way up to multi-syllable words. The last word is representative. So if a kid can pronounce that and read it, we're good. They move on, right? But these guys are already showing that they're below expected first grade level. And the blue one is August, and then the yellow is January. So lots of nice growth there. And then second grade, I made another one. And then I would have to back up for just a second. And I need to give Whitney Hardcastle credit because yes, I gave her all the numbers, but she actually helped me make this beautiful graph and this beautiful slideshow. So we all we all have our different talents. And she definitely helped with this. And then the next one, these are iReady results, and I just chose the fourth grade one to show you an example, but I do have one for first through fifth. And one thing I wanted to do was to draw a horizontal line where the grade level is. So they are still below expected grade level, but that's the population that I'm working with. So, but the red is showing, some growth. And then maybe like right here might be a red flag, like we want to look into that kid a little bit more. Sometimes they just click away and they didn't take it seriously, but iReady is pretty good. They'll give you a red flag if that kid, didn't take time on questions. So we can kind of read through some of that stuff, which is good. Basically, I just wanted to share that with you. I just wanted to share some data and show that our students are working really hard, our teachers are working really hard, or to get those numbers up. Like I said, I know our dashboard is kind of right there, but we're working at it. And I just wanted to bring to your attention how important this position is. And I think at every site is the same, but it's working. It's good for kids and it's good for teachers.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cooper, and thank you for all your hard work and the staff at OFER for helping these kids. Board members, do you have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
So the one child that you said that was flagged, the one that was like
Right here?
right there.
Yeah.
So you said kindergarten, first grade and third grade, we're still seeing the struggles. So what happens, what comes next? Because he's already in third grade and he's still having the struggles.
He's actually already had a couple FSTs and he has been approved for special ed testing. He's been taken to the doctor to get glasses. So parents kind of do their thing and they say, I'll take him to the pediatrician, I'll do this. Maybe we decide on extra work or something, but he is in the process of being tested, maybe for a reading disability.
Okay, so when does an IEP come in play?
Right after that testing.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
he's being assessed for an IEP.
okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a good position where I can kind of identify, and sometimes they go through the testing and they don't qualify, they don't really hit the things, maybe it's something else, but sometimes they do. So if they do, then we know that they can, have an IEP, individual education plan, maybe spend time in the resource room, and that'll follow him through his education.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that steps are taken.
So we just heard a presentation on this is general education children. This is not special needs children or anything like that in general. And did you use the term fourth or fifth grader that's a non-reader? Is that what you said? How is that?
I have one student who's a fifth grader and he was in, I can say things without names.
Generalities, yes.
The family he was living with at the time did not take him to school. And so then things have changed, and this, I think in third grade might have been when he started going to school. So his education is not even as long as it should be, so he doesn't have as much experience. So he's showing progress. I should have had his card up there because he's showing progress, but he is an 11-year-old kid.
So we're talking about an individual. We're not talking about a group of fourth and fifth graders.
No, I'm very, isolated on a non-reader.
Sorry, I was just-
Yeah, not.
Because I was wondering, how do you you know, and maybe the laws have changed and
Well,
the
that's-
requirements do. I mean, is it required that children move on? I mean, I just don't know how you move a fourth or fifth grader through and they can't read. I mean, how did you get to fifth grade?
That's
I
another,
mean, so that may be a
Oh,
whole nother conversation.
yeah.
And that is a whole nother conversation, and there's a lot of legislation and rules kind of
All right, I'm
around
you.
it, but but that's a perfect example of a student that we got, 2 years ago and missed out on TK, kinder,
Yeah.
first, second, and third. So they missed out on 4 or 5 years of education. They're now in fifth grade, and they've only had a year and a half or two of school, and so that creates a huge barrier, right? And then we're playing huge catch up, but our system isn't designed to play huge catch up. But this is what our reading specialist does is try to pay that catch up with those kids, because we have a lot of anomalies like that.
The reading group that I have him in is 2 third graders, a fourth grader, and a fifth grader. So they're all kind of about at the same reading level. And my springboard, the one that went like that, was the fourth grader. So right now he's in my regular fourth grade intervention and he feels so proud. That's another piece I didn't really touch on, but the confidence that they build when they start to read, I mean, so that's cool. And I feel like I'm kind of like another adult in their life, so they've got their teacher, they've got their family, and then one more person who,
Well, they need that positive support of that
Yeah.
out there because, can you imagine just if you were in that same position and. Kids not behind, I mean, they're gonna let you know when you're behind.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and, they need that positive support and I really appreciate your work and. I know there's more to these numbers than, they throw out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're a real, true, fair and accurate reflection of what is occurring. I think there's multiple things that are going on there, but. These are very positive numbers, very positive program, and I greatly appreciate your work. The dedication you have to children and helping them, move forward in their academic career.
I was gonna say that when we have specialized programs like this, and my background, I have a reading specialist credential as well, so that's what I was brought up when I started teaching and got my credential. These are individualized, because when we look at data, we look at how did this grade level do at this school? How did our district do compared to everybody? This type of specialized instruction that we have is a growth-based model. It's based on how, if we have a student coming in with 3-4 years behind, all we can measure is how that student is growing individually. We can't really compare them to the norm or being grade level. So our data sometimes, like you mentioned, can be skewed. But when you zero in on a growth model for students like this in programs, we can demonstrate that individualized instruction is raising. You're not going to have a kid grow 3 grade levels in 1 year, but hopefully 3-4 years, we can get that kid closer to his grade level. So when he's reading his math book, his social studies book, he's able to keep up with his peers at his grade level. That's our goal all the time. And that's what our teachers are working on constantly.
If you figure out 3 or 4 years of growth in 1 year, don't tell nobody, let's bottle it. That's just, because that would be the magic answer, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. I just wanted to share because it felt like good news. They're like, good, but I wanted you to know what we do.
Thank you, we
And-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the LCAP mid-year update.
So thank you for allowing me to do our due diligence and make sure that we're following the assembly bill and doing our mid-year update for LCAP. So this is a 30-page document, so we'll start on page 1.
No, we won't.
So what I did is I went through and did the areas of interest for each of the goals. The areas that might have something to comment on that aren't following the norm or maybe have something that we had to tweak a little bit. The one thing I want to make sure everybody understands is the budget columns are a little bit different. The one that's before. The column that's there for the, let's make sure, the total funds budgeted. Those are the encumbered amounts, so those are the amounts that we will spend. The amounts that we're putting today is what's cleared the account, so basically the check that's cleared so far. Those original amounts are the encumbered amount that was on the LCAP when it was approved. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that because they are different. So it's kind of like a check ledger as we're moving along. Goal 1 focuses on our personnel and hiring highly qualified teachers. As the rest of the state currently, there is a teacher shortage in the state of California, especially highly qualified, which means fully credentialed, have all of their EL authorizations, have passed the RECA, have passed everything. So we have, as of currently, we've gone down to 87% of our teachers are what would be considered highly qualified. And that's following kind of the state decline right now with the amount of teachers. We do have a teacher shortage. We hope every year we are recruiting and trying to get as many as we can to our area. So we hope that improves. And a lot of our teachers that aren't highly qualified are enrolled in programs that within a year or two will be, hopefully. So that's our goal as well. So some of them are on track, but just as of the time of this report, 87% is where we're at.
And those teachers he's speaking of that are currently working for us have college degrees and they're currently in a credentialing program. They're just on most of them are intern credentials right now.
And the good news about goal number 1, it also includes materials and facilities. And we were 100%, if you remember at the beginning of the year, Williams, we had a clean bill of health from the county for facilities and materials. So that part was good. Goal number 2 deals with our state testing. It deals with our PLCs and our groups as far as interventions. In 2023, as we discussed in the last meeting and have discussed previously, our scores were stagnant and a slight decline from 22 to 23. Current benchmark scores show progress towards meeting an end of year gains from previous year. English language art learners have improved the level of reclassification as compared to previous years. So we bumped about 3 to 4% of our reclassification. So we're reclassifying more kids. And just to clarify, that is if we have a student that is an EL learner that scores at a certain level of proficiency on their LPAC as well as their state testing, we have board guidelines that allows us to reclassify the student, which means they have earned their English level at where they're at, and they've also, our reclassified students are some of our highest achievers. You'll see that wherever you go, because they've demonstrated proficiency in English and it's their second language. So that usually means they're high achievers. So the more we reclassify shows our kids are moving in the right direction. And that's one of our areas where we weren't deficient in this year. So that's good as well. And we have growth already demonstrated from our LPAC scores. And then as far as the rest of goal number 2, with the negotiation and MOU for 2 years, with the addition of minimum days next year, we look at fully implementing PLCs, fully implementing our intervention goals, data review. So we have a lot of things to look forward to for goal 2 going into next year. Goal 3, we have improved our overall ADA 90%. So as of right now, that's a 9% increase from last year. That's huge. That's a big deal. So we're getting kids here and hopefully we can maintain that for the rest of the year. We do have an overall lower number of suspensions at mid-year. As I spoke to earlier, when we have suspensions, it's a discussion. Every month we review our suspensions with DOJ. We have to sit and explain. A lot of the times we actually will talk with our DOJ mediator in the middle of issues when we have things going on, ask for guidance. And what we're getting is the state average for discipline is on an upward trend. We have some very serious behaviors happening, and it's not just an Oroville thing. It's a pretty common thing in schools across the country right now. As far as behavior is on the rise, we have a lot more incidents. So we are really working at addressing these early, and then getting them in our tier 2, tier 3 to support them. So we can hopefully limit those amount of suspensions and support the kids. But these are discussions that are going on weekly with me and DOJ, as well as monthly with principal and DOJ. So they're fully aware of every suspension that happens in our district, and they're almost involved in any serious situation that happens in our district. They're fully aware of it. They see our data. They can go look at it at any time, and we submit it monthly. And areas of interest for goal 4, we are in full implementation of the entire goal. This goal was added late. If you remember, when I first got here, we had to rewrite goal 4 and then reapprove the LCAP. It was our focus on our special ed, our students with disabilities. So we are in full compliance in that. And then also one of the big highlights for goal number 4 is our chronic absenteeism among students with disabilities has gone from 53 to 38, which is a huge jump. It's a little over a third of improvement. So that's really good. So that rounds out the areas of interest for the mid-year LCAP. Were there any questions?
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing.
Public hearings. Pupil Transportation Service Plan. Orville High School and Orville Elementary.
So the Orville High School School District operates the transportation program for themselves and for our district, if you recall. A few years back, we had part of it, a special ed piece of it, but we have fully given over all the parts that to Orville High School to operate. Part of their responsibility is to provide us and have a pupil transportation services plan, which is required. It's one of the new requirements from last year, I think. So it has to go to public hearing to get any feedback, and then I believe we adopt it at the next meeting. So I don't know that the public services transportation plan is really any different than it ever has been. But now has certain requirements that have to be met, which I believe we're already meeting. But here it is for public view and public comment.
So this is not an action item. This is just an opportunity for us to discuss or take any public comment at this time.
Does the board have any questions?
Do not.
Does anybody in the public have any comments or questions? Anybody have their hand raised?
No, they do not.
Okay, moving on to action session. Public comments on action items. The board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on items that are listed on the agenda. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, please use your raise your hand button to be called on to speak. The Brown Act does not allow the governing board to discuss or take action on any item that is not on the posted agenda.
Do we have any
Do
comments?
we have any comments? Is there anything on?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda.
So, Madam President, I have one small addendum to the personnel recommendation. It's on one of our newly hired employees, number 10, Margaret York, as an instructional assistant. Her effective date was to be February 26th, but that will be delayed a week or two because of illness, and so that will be to be determined. So just like to when we make a motion with the amended change to the personnel recommendation.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? Okay, this is an action item. Bill LeBron.
Oh, no, we gotta.
Oh, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the consent agenda as presented with the exception of personnel recommendation. And the number 10 to be determined as recommended.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, we're gonna call for a vote.
Roll call.
Roll call. Bill LeBron,
Yes.
Sandra Barnes, aye. Jessica, Anthony?
Yes.
And myself as a yes, Lisa Torres, 4 yeses. Any nays? 4 votes. Okay, new business, review proposed 2024-25 school calendar.
In,
Do you want to talk about it?
yeah, I was just trying to find it on my agenda. So this is the proposed calendar for this for the next school year. It's very, very similar to what we had this year with the February break being a week. And it is recommended that it to the board to pass as presented. This also follows the same calendar as the high school. They present this to us. And this is very important because a lot of our kids, it's important to our families to have the same calendar as a high school so that they can coordinate services, vacations, and childcare, etc.
And this is just a review, so that's.
Yeah, if there's any questions or any.
Is there any questions on the board?
I just wondered, are they doing every Wednesday minimum days for next year?
So through ceasefire negotiations with OETA, we agreed to an agreement, I think it's for 2 years, where we'll be doing minimum days every Wednesday of the school year. And those days are allotted for some different purposes. One of the main thrusts that we had with it was we wanted to bring back PLC in a big way to the district. So that's one of the main pieces of that change.
Would have a consistent Wednesday.
Right, so they'll have a consistent Wednesday, and that's fairly standard with the other districts in the area. So we're hopeful that the PLC program will be successful. So if it is, then maybe we'll look at continuing that past the 2 years.
Okay. We're gonna move on to approve the affidavit of the governing board members.
Okay. It is recommended that the affidavit of governing board members request the allowance of attendance due to a material decrease at Oakdale Heights Elementary School on February 1st, 2024, be approved as a result of an anonymous tip that was received by the Oroville Police Department regarding violence that was to occur at 1245 on Las Pumas Avenue in Oroville, which is the street that the school is located on. The site experienced a loss of attendance due to the threat of violence. So this is a document or an affidavit that we're asking the governing board to approve tonight, which allows us to go to the state of California and get, because of that threat, we had about half the school or more absent. And this is our ability to ask the state to, give us the full funding for that day because of the seriousness of the threat.
Does the board have any questions? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do a roll call. Bill?
Yes.
LeBron? Sandra Barnes?
Aye.
Jessica Anthony?
Yes.
And Lisa Torres, myself, yes. For any no's, any opposed? Abstained? Pass of 4, yes. Okay, we're gonna go on to approve vendor agreement. Public corporate?
So Hub or Hubie, I don't know how you want to
Hubie?
pronounce it. You can pick. This is the data system that's going to be used for our new state preschool. The state preschool program, as we're going to see it, is its own separate fund. It has its own separate data system. It's its own separate program. It lives at SDO, but it is a state preschool, so it's kind of fully encapsulated. And this is the data system that they need to do their part and do their reporting.
Does the board have any questions? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. We're gonna do a roll call. Bill LeBron,
Yes.
Sandra Barnes. Aye. Jessica Anthony,
Yes.
Lisa Torres, myself, yes. Any noes? Okay, pass with 4 yeses. We're gonna go on to waive first reading and adopt approved board policies.
So this is gonna be the first reading, tonight for approved board policies as we look to update our mobile devices, which include cell phones, any kind of other kind of communication devices that kids may wear or use in schools. And the state of California is updating their policy, and so we're going to be updating our policy so that we can continue to try to crack down on the use of cell phones in our schools. Our current policy is good, but this is going to make it even stronger and give us the opportunity to require kids that they can bring their cell phones and other mobile devices and communication devices to schools, but they have to keep them in their backpacks. Or they have to keep them away and out of sight. And they can't use them unless they have permission or in the case of emergency.
And is that permission detailed in here as how that?
So in this board policy, how this works is this board policy is the foundation of what we're gonna do with the schools. It details that the students have a right to have a cell phone for emergency usage. That's what California has come as their sort of the students' rights to have a cell phone or a mobile communication device. What will happen next, once the board passes this, is that the superintendent's office will make a district-wide policy that will detail out these are how it's going to work. Here's if you get caught with it, here are the different steps of discipline and at what point do you lose your phone completely. So this is sort of the foundational piece that until we have this piece, we can't go on to the next.
Okay.
So that's why this is an important policy for our board to have. So that we can have options, because right now we have no options. Because I don't think we have a mobile communication device policy at all.
So we have policies and procedures in our schools and we try to follow them, but this is gonna give us more authority to enforce them. And it will be kind of a step policy that I will then bring forward to the board, which basically will say, hey, you get a warning. Then the next one is it gets taken to the office. The next one is, do your parents come in?
No, exactly. Well, let's talk about the parents just for a hot moment. I have had my professional existence